Good evening, friends. Today we delve into a topic that touches the depths of our hearts, the silent truth, why they return after hurting you. Many of us have experienced the pain of betrayal, only to find those who hurt us coming back into our lives. The questions linger: why? What do they seek? But more importantly, what does this mean for our journey of self-love and healing? Let us explore this through a lens of compassion, understanding, and empowerment. When someone returns after hurting us, it can be perplexing and emotionally charged. Why do they come back? What do they hope to gain? While these questions often lead us to focus on their motives, there is a deeper layer to explore, one that shifts our attention inward. This is the concept of life as a mirror, reflecting back to us the beliefs, patterns, and emotions we carry within ourselves. Understanding this idea can offer profound clarity and healing. Life has a way of presenting us with situations and people that echo our inner landscape. The interactions we have, especially the challenging ones, are often reflections of what we believe about ourselves or what we have yet to address. When someone who has caused us pain returns, it is not just about them, it is also about what their presence reveals to us about our inner state. This is not to place blame on ourselves for their actions, but rather to empower us to see how our thoughts and emotions shape our experiences. For instance, if we hold on to a belief, consciously or unconsciously, that we are not worthy of consistent love and respect, we might find ourselves in relationships where those patterns play out. When the person who hurt us returns, it may be because that unresolved belief is still active within us, inviting us to confront and heal it. It is as though life is saying, here is another opportunity to rewrite this narrative, to affirm your worth, and to let go of what no longer serves you. Their return can also highlight areas where we have yet to establish or reinforce boundaries. If we have struggled to say no or to prioritize our needs, their reappearance might be an invitation to practice these skills. The mirror effect is not about judgment, but about growth. It gently reflects the areas where we are being called to evolve and reclaim our power. At times, the reflection can be uncomfortable. We may see aspects of ourselves that we would rather avoid: our fears, insecurities, or unhealed wounds. However, it is in facing these reflections with compassion and courage that we find liberation. The person returning may unknowingly act as a catalyst, urging us to delve deeper into our inner world. They might remind us of past experiences or patterns, giving us a chance to observe and, if necessary, transform them. This process is not about dwelling on the past or blaming ourselves for what has happened. It is about recognizing that we have the power to change how we respond and what we attract into our lives moving forward. The mirror effect invites us to take radical responsibility for our emotional and energetic well-being. It asks us to shift from victimhood to empowerment by understanding that our external experiences are often a reflection of our internal states. Their return can also offer an opportunity for forgiveness, not necessarily for their benefit, but for our own healing. Forgiveness is not about condoning harmful behavior, it is about freeing ourselves from the emotional chains that keep us tied to the pain of the past. By forgiving, we release the grip that their actions have on us, allowing space for new, healthier patterns to emerge. Furthermore, the mirror effect encourages us to examine what we are projecting outward. If we have unresolved anger, fear, or doubt, these emotions can color our perceptions and interactions. By addressing and healing these feelings within ourselves, we change the energy we bring to our relationships. This shift can lead to profound changes in how others engage with us and how we navigate our connections. It is also worth noting that the mirror effect works both ways. Just as their return reflects something within us, our presence in their life reflects something within them. Perhaps they are drawn back because they sense an unresolved dynamic or because they are seeking something they believe we can provide. This does not mean we are obligated to meet their needs or accept their return. It simply highlights the interconnectedness of our experiences and the lessons we are all here to learn. Ultimately, the mirror effect is a gift, even when it feels difficult to embrace. It offers us a path to greater self-awareness and growth. By seeing their return as a reflection, we can approach it with curiosity rather than resistance. We can ask ourselves, what is this showing me about myself? What can I learn from this experience? How can I use this moment to affirm my worth and deepen my self-love? In doing so, we transform what might initially feel like a painful or confusing experience into an opportunity for healing and empowerment. The mirror is not there to punish us or to trap us in old patterns. It is there to illuminate the truth of who we are and to guide us toward the life we truly deserve, a life filled with love, respect, and alignment with our highest self. When someone who has hurt you returns, it can evoke a mix of emotions, confusion, anger, hope, or even dread. The experience may feel like reopening a wound, yet beneath the surface lies an invitation for closure. Their return is not necessarily about rekindling a relationship or justifying their actions. Often it serves as a moment to confront unresolved emotions, release what no longer serves you, and move forward with clarity and strength. Closure is not something others give to us, it is something we create within ourselves. The return of someone who caused pain can act as a catalyst, shining a light on the feelings we may have buried or ignored. Whether it's lingering resentment, unspoken words, or unresolved questions, their presence brings these emotions to the forefront. This is an opportunity to address them, not for their sake, but for your own peace of mind. Many of us long for closure to make sense of what happened. We seek understanding, an apology, or a resolution that aligns with our narrative of fairness. However, closure is less about receiving external validation and more about finding internal harmony. When someone comes back, it allows us to face the unresolved emotions that keep us tethered to the past. It is an invitation to decide how we want to close this chapter, not by relying on them, but by choosing our own path forward. Their return may also challenge us to examine our expectations. Often we hope that their reappearance will bring answers or healing. While this can happen, it is not always the case. They may not have the clarity, awareness, or willingness to offer what we seek. This is where we must take control of our own emotional journey. By releasing the expectation that closure must come from them, we empower ourselves to create the closure we need. Forgiveness often plays a significant role in finding closure. Forgiveness is not about condoning their behavior or forgetting the pain they caused. It is about freeing yourself from the emotional weight of resentment. When we hold on to anger or bitterness, we remain energetically tied to the person who hurt us. Their return can be a reminder to let go of this burden, to forgive not for their benefit, but for your own liberation. Forgiveness allows you to reclaim your energy and redirect it toward healing and growth. Boundaries are another crucial aspect of closure. When someone who hurt you returns, it is a chance to assert your boundaries and protect your emotional well-being. Closure does not mean allowing them back into your life if doing so would cause further harm. It means being clear about what you will and will not accept. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect, affirming that your peace and healing are priorities. Closure also involves accepting what cannot be changed. The past is unalterable, and sometimes the answers we seek will never come. Their return may not bring the resolution you hope for, but it can still provide a sense of finality. It is a moment to acknowledge what happened, to honor the lessons learned, and to release the grip that the experience has had on your heart. Acceptance is not about erasing the pain, but about integrating it into your story in a way that allows you to move forward. Additionally, their return can serve as a mirror, reflecting the progress you have made since the time of the hurt. It is an opportunity to see how far you have come in your journey of self-love and healing. Perhaps you now recognize red flags you once ignored. Perhaps you feel stronger in your sense of worth and less willing to tolerate disrespect. Their presence can highlight the growth you have achieved, reminding you of the power you hold to shape your future. Ultimately, the call for closure is not about them, it is about you. It is about taking the reins of your healing journey and deciding how to move forward. Closure is an act of self-love, a declaration that you deserve to live free from the shadows of the past. It is about reclaiming your narrative, choosing peace over pain, and creating space for new, healthier connections. When someone who hurt you returns, you have a choice. You can allow their presence to reopen old wounds, or you can use the moment as an opportunity to close them. By addressing unresolved emotions, forgiving where you can, setting boundaries, and accepting what is, you create a foundation for healing and growth. Closure is not something they can give you, it is a gift you give to yourself. When someone who has caused you pain returns to your life, it often stirs a mixture of emotions, curiosity, confusion, or even frustration. While their motives might remain unclear, their reappearance can signify a deeper energetic phenomenon, the presence of unresolved imbalances. These imbalances exist not only between you and the other person, but also within their own emotional landscape and perhaps your own. Understanding these dynamics can provide valuable insights and pave the way for healing. In every interaction, an exchange of energy occurs. Relationships, whether harmonious or tumultuous, involve a flow of emotions, thoughts, and intentions. When someone leaves your life after inflicting hurt, the energy of that experience doesn't simply vanish. It lingers, often creating a sense of incompleteness or disharmony. For both individuals involved, this energetic residue can feel like an unresolved cord, a tension that calls for balance. Their return may be an unconscious attempt to address this imbalance. On a subtle level, they might feel the weight of their actions or recognize that something was left unfinished. While they may not openly acknowledge it, their return could stem from a need to reconcile the energetic disruption caused by their behavior. This does not necessarily mean they have come back to make amends or to heal the relationship in a meaningful way. It might simply be an effort to ease their own discomfort or guilt. From your perspective, their return can highlight areas where you too might still be holding on to unresolved energy. Perhaps there is lingering anger, sadness, or confusion that has yet to be processed. The energy of those emotions can tether you to the past, creating a sense of stagnation or even attracting similar experiences in the future. Recognizing these feelings is the first step toward releasing them and restoring your own energetic balance. Energetic imbalances also manifest in patterns. If you've noticed recurring dynamics in your relationships, such as attracting individuals who hurt you or struggle with accountability, it might point to an energetic cycle that needs to be broken. Their return is an opportunity to identify and address these patterns. It invites you to ask, what am I holding on to that allows this energy to re-enter my life? What do I need to release to create healthier connections moving forward? The concept of balance doesn't necessarily mean reconciliation. While some relationships can heal and transform, others are best left in the past. The key is to discern whether engaging with this person again serves your highest good. If their presence brings more harm than healing, maintaining distance may be the most loving choice for yourself. In doing so, you protect your energy and affirm your commitment to your well-being. Forgiveness plays a vital role in addressing energetic imbalances. Forgiveness is not about excusing their behavior or inviting them back into your life. It is about releasing the hold that their actions have on your energy. When you forgive, you free yourself from the emotional weight of resentment, anger, or betrayal. This act of release creates space for harmony and peace to flow back into your life. Forgiveness is an act of self-liberation, allowing you to move forward without carrying the burdens of the past. Another powerful way to restore energetic balance is through boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are guidelines that protect your energy and define how others can interact with you. When someone returns after causing harm, it is an opportunity to assert your boundaries clearly and firmly. By doing so, you honor your growth and signal that you are no longer willing to engage in dynamics that drain or destabilize your energy. It is also essential to acknowledge that their return might have little to do with you. People often project their own unresolved emotions onto others, seeking external validation or relief from their inner struggles. Their return could be a reflection of their own energetic imbalance, a need for closure, forgiveness, or understanding that they must ultimately find within themselves. Recognizing this can help you detach from their motives and focus on your own healing. Healing energetic imbalances requires both reflection and action. Reflect on what their return stirs within you. Are there emotions you've avoided processing? Are there lessons you need to integrate? Once you've identified these areas, take actionable steps to heal. This might involve journaling, therapy, meditation, or rituals of release, such as writing a letter to the person, whether or not you send it, expressing your emotions and intentions for closure. Ultimately, restoring energetic balance is a deeply personal process. It's about reclaiming your power, aligning with your values, and creating an inner state of harmony. Their return is merely a trigger, a signal that something within the energy dynamic calls for attention. By addressing these imbalances with compassion and clarity, you transform what might feel like a disruption into an opportunity for profound growth and healing. In the end, you have the power to decide how their return impacts your life. Will it reopen old wounds, or will it inspire you to heal and realign? The choice is yours. By releasing the past, setting boundaries, and prioritizing your peace, you can restore the balance that allows you to step into your highest self stronger, wiser, and more centered than before. When someone who has hurt you returns to your life, it often feels like an emotional whirlwind. Memories resurface, wounds you thought were healed might ache again, and questions arise about their motives. But beneath the surface of their return lies a deeper opportunity, one that life presents not to challenge your peace, but to affirm your growth. Their return is not just an event, it is a test, a chance to measure how far you've come in your journey of self-love, healing, and empowerment. Growth is rarely linear, and life has a way of testing the lessons we've learned. When someone who caused you pain reappears, it can be unsettling, but it's also a profound mirror. It reflects who you were when you knew them and who you've become since. Their presence can highlight the progress you've made and sometimes the areas that still need attention. Consider this: before their return, you might have been confident that you had moved on. You believed you had healed, set boundaries, or let go of resentment. Their reappearance, however, may stir emotions you thought you'd resolved. This is not a sign of failure, but an invitation to deepen your healing. Growth is not about never feeling triggered, it's about how you respond when those triggers arise. Their return challenges you to revisit your boundaries. Are you able to assert them with clarity and confidence? When someone who hurt you tries to re-enter your life, they test whether the boundaries you've set are firm or flexible under pressure. Setting boundaries is not about rejecting others out of spite, but about protecting your energy and ensuring that your relationships align with your values and well-being. In the past, you might have tolerated behavior that diminished your worth. You may have excused their actions, hoping they would change, or sacrificed your peace to keep the connection alive. Their return is an opportunity to do things differently. It's a chance to stand in your power, to honor the person you've become, and to show yourself the love and respect you deserve. This test of growth also invites you to practice forgiveness, not necessarily toward them, but toward yourself. You might look back at the version of you who allowed certain things to happen and feel regret or frustration. Their return can bring up these feelings, but it's also an opportunity to show compassion to that past self. You did the best you could with the knowledge and emotional tools you had at the time. Forgive yourself for what you didn't know then, and celebrate the wisdom you've gained now. Another dimension of growth is recognizing patterns. When they return, it's worth asking, does this feel familiar? If you notice that their behavior or dynamic mirrors past experiences, it's a signal to pause and reflect. Growth means breaking cycles, and their return is a chance to disrupt patterns that no longer serve you. Whether it's attracting similar types of relationships or falling into old habits of self-sacrifice, you have the power to choose differently this time. This test is also about discernment. Not every person who returns after causing hurt comes with genuine intentions. Some may seek to restore what was lost, while others may be driven by selfish motives or unresolved guilt. Growth means being able to assess their presence without being swayed solely by emotion. Are their actions aligned with their words? Do they respect your boundaries? Are they adding to your life or taking from it? These are the questions that growth equips you to answer. Sometimes the greatest act of growth is in letting go. Their return might tempt you to reopen a door that was closed for good reason. Growth is not about proving you can endure their presence. It's about recognizing when their return no longer serves your highest good. Walking away with love and peace is a powerful affirmation of how far you've come. Growth is also about gratitude, not for the hurt they caused, but for the lessons you've learned from it. Their return, no matter how disruptive it may feel, can remind you of the strength you've developed, the boundaries you've built, and the resilience you've cultivated. Every painful experience has shaped the person you are today, and their return is simply a reflection of that journey. In moments when their return feels overwhelming, pause and ask yourself, what would the healed version of me do? This question can guide your response, reminding you of the progress you've made. Whether you choose to engage with them or not, let your actions align with the person you are becoming, not the person you were when they hurt you. Ultimately, their return is not about them, it's about you. It's a test of whether you can hold on to the growth you've worked so hard to achieve. It's about choosing yourself, your peace, your values, and your future above all else. And when you pass this test, you don't just prove your growth to others, you affirm it to yourself. In doing so, you take one more step toward the life you deserve, one rooted in love, respect, and alignment with your highest self. When someone who has hurt you returns, it's natural to question their motives. Are they seeking forgiveness, reconciliation, or perhaps closure? While these may be valid reasons, there is often a deeper subconscious pull that brings them back: the nature of familiarity. Familiarity, while comforting in its predictability, has the power to draw people back into relationships or dynamics, even when those relationships have been sources of pain or conflict. Understanding this concept can help you navigate their return with clarity and self-awareness. Human beings are creatures of habit. We gravitate toward what we know, even if it isn't what's best for us. Familiarity offers a sense of security and predictability that can feel reassuring, especially when life feels uncertain. For someone who returns after causing harm, this sense of familiarity may act as a magnet. They may find comfort in the dynamic you once shared, even if it was flawed or imbalanced. It's not necessarily a conscious choice, rather it's an instinctive pull toward the known. This pull of familiarity can be especially strong for people who are struggling with their own emotional challenges. They may return because they associate you with a time in their life when things felt more stable or meaningful. Even if their actions caused pain, the connection you shared might represent a form of solace or grounding for them. Their return, then, is less about who you are now and more about who you were in their life at a particular moment. From your perspective, their return might also trigger feelings of familiarity. Whether the relationship was filled with joy, conflict, or a mixture of both, it left an imprint on you. Their presence may evoke a sense of nostalgia, even if it's tinged with pain. This can create confusion, as you might find yourself drawn to reconnect despite knowing the harm they caused. This is the power of familiarity. It's not always rational, but it is deeply felt. Familiarity can also mask underlying issues. Just because something feels comfortable doesn't mean it's healthy. When someone returns, it's important to examine whether the familiarity of their presence aligns with your growth and well-being. Are you drawn to them because you genuinely believe the relationship can evolve, or are you falling back into old patterns out of habit or unresolved emotions? Recognizing this distinction is key to making decisions that honor your highest self. Another aspect of familiarity is the human tendency to seek closure through repetition. For both parties, re-entering a familiar dynamic might feel like an opportunity to rewrite the past or correct what went wrong. They may hope that by returning they can ease their guilt or regain something they feel they lost. You, in turn, might feel compelled to revisit the relationship in the hope of achieving clarity or resolution. However, it's important to remember that closure doesn't always come from revisiting the past. It often comes from within. Familiarity also plays a role in how we perceive change. When someone returns, they may claim to have changed, and they might truly believe it. But change requires time, effort, and consistent actions, not just words. Familiarity with their past behavior might make it difficult for you to trust their intentions or to see them in a new light. Conversely, it might also blind you to red flags, as you're inclined to focus on the positive aspects of what you once shared. This is why discernment is crucial. Assess their actions, not just their promises, to determine whether their return is genuinely aligned with your well-being. It's also important to recognize that familiarity can create an illusion of connection. Just because someone feels familiar doesn't mean they are meant to remain in your life. Relationships, even painful ones, leave energetic imprints that can linger long after they end. Their return may simply be a reminder of those imprints, giving you the opportunity to address and release them. This doesn't always mean rekindling the relationship. It can mean acknowledging the familiarity, understanding its significance, and then letting it go. Ultimately, the nature of familiarity is both a challenge and an opportunity. It challenges you to look beyond the surface, to question whether the pull you feel is rooted in love and growth or in habit and fear of the unknown. At the same time, it offers an opportunity to affirm your growth. Familiarity with the past doesn't have to dictate your future. You have the power to choose relationships and dynamics that align with your values, your boundaries, and your vision for a healthier, more fulfilling life. When someone returns, they might be seeking the comfort of the familiar, but that doesn't obligate you to re-enter the dynamic. Their return can be a moment to reflect on how far you've come and to decide, with clarity and intention, whether reconnecting serves your highest good. Familiarity is not a reason to hold on, it is an invitation to evaluate, to heal, and to move forward with wisdom and self-respect. By recognizing the role of familiarity, you empower yourself to make choices that honor your journey and your worth. When someone who has caused you pain returns to your life, it can feel like a crossroads. Emotions arise: confusion, curiosity, hope, or even resentment, and questions surface about what you should do next. Do you let them back in, or do you maintain the boundaries you've set? Their return may seem to hold all the weight, but the truth is, the power rests entirely in your hands. The choices you make in such moments reflect not only your boundaries, but also your growth and your commitment to self-love. Choice is one of the most profound tools you possess. It shapes your life, defines your relationships, and reflects how much you honor your values and needs. When someone reappears after causing you hurt, their actions may stir feelings of uncertainty, but it's essential to remember that you are in control. You are not obligated to engage, to forgive, or to rekindle the connection unless it aligns with your truth. Their return is simply an event. Your response is where your power lies. In the past, you might have felt compelled to prioritize their feelings over your own, to make room for their presence despite the pain they caused. Growth, however, teaches you that your peace matters. You are no longer the person you were when they hurt you. You have evolved, learned, and healed. Now, their return is an opportunity to exercise your power of choice in alignment with the person you've become. Choosing whether to let someone back into your life is not just about the present moment, it's about the future you are creating. Every decision you make sets a tone for what you will and will not allow moving forward. Their return gives you the chance to reinforce the boundaries you've established. If their presence aligns with your well-being and growth, then welcoming them back might feel right. If it threatens your peace or reopens old wounds, choosing to keep your distance is an act of self-love. It's important to remember that the power of choice includes the freedom to say no. Too often we feel pressured to forgive, to explain, or to justify our decisions to others, but your choices are yours alone. You are not responsible for their feelings or their understanding of your actions. Saying no to someone who caused you harm is not an act of cruelty, it is a declaration that your healing and peace are non-negotiable. The power of choice also requires discernment. When someone returns, they may claim to have changed or to regret their actions. While people can and do grow, it's essential to assess their words against their actions. Are they showing you through consistent behavior that they've transformed? Or are they merely offering promises without substance? Your ability to evaluate these factors allows you to make a choice rooted in wisdom rather than emotion. At the heart of the power of choice is self-awareness. When someone returns, it's natural to feel a range of emotions: anger, hope, or even a longing for closure. Take the time to sit with these feelings and reflect on what they reveal about your inner state. Are you seeking validation from their return? Are you hoping for an apology that might never come? Understanding your own motivations helps you make choices that honor your growth rather than repeating old patterns. Your power of choice also extends to forgiveness, though forgiveness does not always mean reconciliation. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the weight of resentment or anger, allowing you to move forward unburdened. It's a choice you make for your own peace, not for theirs. You can forgive someone while still choosing not to let them back into your life. This balance between forgiveness and boundaries is a testament to your strength and clarity. Another aspect of your power of choice is the ability to redefine what the relationship means to you. When someone returns, it doesn't have to mean returning to the same dynamic. You can choose to engage on your terms, creating a new framework that reflects your values and needs. Or you can choose to release the connection entirely, knowing that letting go is sometimes the most loving choice for yourself. Ultimately, the power of choice is about taking ownership of your narrative. Their return is not about them, it's about you, your growth, your healing, and your vision for the future. Each choice you make is a step toward creating a life that aligns with your truth. You are not the person you were when they hurt you, and you are not bound by the dynamics of the past. You have the freedom to choose what serves you and the courage to walk away from what does not. In moments of doubt, remind yourself of this truth: you hold the pen to your story. Their return is not the defining chapter, it's merely a moment that invites you to reaffirm your power. By choosing with intention, you honor the person you've become and pave the way for a future that reflects your worth, strength, and deepest desires. The power of choice is yours. Use it wisely and let it lead you to peace and fulfillment.